Our generation is the one that's going to have to deal with the consequences of like all those before us, and that we're going to have to try to fix the problem that we've created.
I love nature, but I wasn't really aware that it was disappearing, and now we're learning how we can stop that.
We see that there are ways to fix the problem. We have no reason to hesitate.
One of the most important things that you can do is to teach other people, and like that's kind of what this school is about.
You learn values that will help you in the future about protecting Mother Earth.
They have 4 main tenets of the school now. There used to be only 3, which were academic excellence, prizing diversity, and Quaker values. Now they've added a 4th, environmental stewardship. So it's really gone down to the fundamentals of the school.
And environmental stewardship is just being very aware of the environment, and what you do has huge impacts on the environment.
The point of this school is to serve as a reminder that you can do something to help.
Live simply so that others may simply live. Global warming is mainly caused by lifestyle choices. Do you drive the car to the corner store like a block or 2 away, or do you walk there, do you bike there?
Science has shown that it's really important and it's really happening very quickly.
There's going to be a certain turning point where it's too late, you can't go back and solve it.
It's really about thinking. Common sense, logic, and consideration.
Came here to one of the information sessions, and they talked about this new plan that they had for an environmental building, and I was like, wow, that's really cool.
We got to meet with some of the planners of the building, and they discussed with us what LEED means and the requirements for getting the platinum rating.
I know that LEED Platinum is just the highest level possible for green buildings to have, and so we're very proud to have it.
It just makes me feel as if I'm special, and that Sidwell is like this magical place in some way for me.
The first thing I noticed when I came to the building is that there were no new smells, and that's good because those smells are actually chemicals, and those can make people sick.
Even when I go on the roof up there, it's almost like a work of art.
The roof is basically covered in solar panels. You make up about 5% of the school's energy.
I know our computer room is powered by solar panels. It's not wasting any energy, and that's a big improvement.
Like the plants that they use, they made them in a way where they don't require too much water.
And we've planted different herbs for the cafeteria so that they don't have to buy them.
And they're also native to this area, because otherwise it's an invasive species and they could take over all the plants.
We need to know that that's hot water running through there, or that that's cold water, and that's going to go somewhere, where it's going to go, where it's going to end up, and what it's going to take with it.
When we go down into the basement, it says domestic hot water going this way, and there's arrows and everything.
And so it gives people a chance to learn how things were made, so it kind of brings you down to earth.
One of the only reasons I really wanted to go to the middle school is because I heard we were going to have the wetlands, and I'm very partial to animals like frogs.
The wetland is actually part of the water cleaning system for the wastewater that we use, and it reduces the use of DC water by 70% of what we would usually use.
Water is something that's really important to have because it keeps us alive, and I think that that's very interesting that Sidwell has that system.
They call it gray water, and it comes in through pipes, and then there's 3 tiers to the wetland. So it goes through the first tier, the second, and the third, and all the levels are covered in plants. Then it goes into the basement where there's a UV disinfection unit, and there's 2 other cleaning filter systems.
But there's also small things, like the fact that the siding for the building was made from reused cedar barrels.
And instead of having normal gutters, they have open gutters, but instead they have a chain running down through them. The chain keeps the water still, and I guess I should know, it's a physics concept of some sort. Cohesion.
They're used to drain water from the roof without it just flying down. So there are all sorts of things in the building that maybe you wouldn't know at first are environmentally friendly, but like the smallest little things, but they are.
And the lights are automatic. If somebody comes in, they automatically turn on, and if somebody walks out, they turn off.
When you're outside on the soccer field and you look back, you can see all the way through the building, through those windows. They provide a lot of natural light, which I love.
I think Sidwell is also participating in the study on that, how if natural light helps kids learn better.
You know, it's great if you have a green building, but if you come to school and you have no idea what's going on, it's kind of a total loss because you're not really aware of what's going on.
So every day you could see how you were conserving energy and how much energy it really takes to do everyday things like turning on a light.
I mean, it makes it seem less like a school and it's more natural. And so I think that in general, the whole campus has that feel, which is cool.
This building just made me so much more conscious of there's so many little things that you can do to actually help the environment.
My family's recently switched over 50% to green power from wind.
My mom is really resistant to putting in these compact fluorescent light bulbs because she thinks that they give poor quality light, but I've actually been sneaking them in. She hasn't noticed yet.
Even though they're a little bit more expensive, they pay themselves back quickly. And so that's a very simple alternative to use.
Every day I basically come home and teach them a new thing I've learned about the environment.
I think that everybody should have a recycling bin.
And also, we should all turn off our lights and make sure we don't leave them on.
It's simple things, but they really hit home when you think about them. And there are a lot of alternatives that'll work just as well, and maybe even better.
You can bike to school, you can walk to school, you can carpool or take public transportation.
And you can really feel that you're helping the greenness of the earth.
The fact that the message is getting out here is kind of a symbol that we succeeded and this building is working, because that's the point of this building.
Yeah, just to show everyone that you can make a step forward, you know?
If you don't do 2 big steps, just do small steps. If everybody does a small step, it's equal to a lot of big steps. And then if everybody does big steps, it's equal to bigger steps. We can really still win this back.
What we do lives on, and I think that we can really make a big difference if we put in the extra effort now, which is the only time we have to help. And I think that if we keep on helping, we can make the lives of other people a lot easier too.
And I think the school is a great example of that, of the Sidwell community coming together to do something positive for the environment.
I think this school and this building and being a part of this institution gives its students a really great sense of responsibility. There's no one person who doesn't have to worry about this, who doesn't have to help. Every single person needs to know what they're doing. Every single person needs to understand.
You can't sow seeds with clenched fists, and so I guess we should just open our hands and help the environment.
Quakers have a big tradition of leading by example, and this is just a great example of that, definitely.